All right, welcome everybody. I'm excited for today's webinar. We've got a special guest. Oscar from NiceJob is here to walk us through, how to turn happy customers into fanatical advocates. We're very excited for this presentation. It's going to be a great one. NiceJob's been a great partner for us, so we're really excited about this. Before we get into it, though, got a couple housekeeping things. As always, I want to remind everybody about JobTread Pros. It's our Facebook group where we've got thousands of people in there. It's a great place to collaborate with our team and with the rest of the JobTread community, whether you've got questions, want to learn best practices, even stuff, not related to JobTread. We see lots of great, discussions and advice and things, tips, tricks, templates being shared. So it's a great place to be. Be sure that you get in there and, join the group. We'll get you accepted as quickly as we can. I also want to give a shout out. We've got our first JobTread Beginner Boot Camp. It's going to be next Thursday and Friday, located here in Dallas, Texas, right at our office. We are really excited. I think we've got just a few more tickets left for that. But Anna's going to be putting on this boot camp, this inaugural boot camp. We've had so many requests for this over the last couple of years, and we're really excited to finally be able to put this together. It's a 2-day, full-blown set of training, going through all the basics, everything that you would need to get started on JobTread. So if you're interested in that, again, it's really intended for beginners, so you can grab your tickets in the JobTread Marketplace. There's still some room left. So if you think this would be a good fit for you, definitely jump in there. If you have questions, not sure if it'd be a good fit for you or not, reach out to your customer success manager or even our support team. We're happy to answer questions, sort of help you assess if that would be a good fit or not. And lastly, we've got builder stories that has been our podcast that we've been putting out new episodes every single Wednesday. I interview all sorts of different types of builders, contractors, really to hear their journey and understand, the things that are working well for them, the challenges that they're having to overcome. It's a great place to learn from others who may be, a little bit farther along in their journey. Just hearing other people's success stories can really help you, to hopefully, not have to take those same hard knocks that they've learned over the years. So tune into that. It's on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can watch it on our website. Whatever your fancy is, you definitely want to tune in and check out those episodes that are coming out every single Wednesday morning. And without further ado, I want to introduce NiceJob here. They're a reputation marketing, SEO-driven lead generation, helping companies, to really, grow and scale their business by getting reviews and getting those customer insights that they can help you collect. The really cool thing about NiceJob, the thing that I love is they're offering all JobTread customers 50% off NiceJob forever as a thank you, as a token for being a JobTread and a NiceJob customer. It's a great opportunity to get a great deal with these guys. They've got awesome software, so we're really excited to hear from Oscar a little bit more about it. We'll touch on the integration, how it works. But yeah, I want to encourage everybody, if you're not currently using NiceJob, you want to learn more after this webinar, go to the JobTread Marketplace. And if you go through that, if you create your account through there, you'll be able to get that really great discount that they're offering all of our customers. So with that, I want to turn it over to Oscar. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more? Tell us what you do, and tell us about NiceJob. How can you help us?
Thanks, Eric. So yeah, I'm Oscar, and I said it before. I'm up here in Vancouver, Canada. But if anyone's feeling confused, I am English. This is not some incredibly funky Canadian accent. But I've been living here in Vancouver for 5 years. I moved from London, where I'd been for sort of 6 or 7 years, and my wife and I moved 5 years ago. And previously, I'm a reformed investment banker. That's what I always say. Like previously, I was in London. I was working for 6 years in finance, and I was really excited to kind of pursue a different career where I felt like I was having much more of a direct impact on, people and people's lives, and what kind of better lives to have an impact on small business owners who are out there really trying to build things. So super excited to be at NiceJob. I've been with the company for 2 years, head up partnerships here, and we've been, I guess, in the JobTread community since the beginning of the year. So that was exciting. We came down to JobTread Connect. That was kind of like the real launch of the integration that you guys built, which we're really excited about. And now Eric, you asked me to kind of talk at JobTread Connect on that topic of, turning turning happy customers into fanatical advocates, or whatever the term we want to use, which was really cool. But obviously only a few people got to listen to it who were in the room at the time at the show. So I think the fact that I have the chance to kind of share some of that information again and have it recorded and be kind of available all the time on JobTread is great. So I'm really excited to be here. And you mentioned the discount, like I think a lot of people say, oh yeah, it's exclusive to, you know, this or us or whatever partner, but this is the JobTread is the only place you can get this price on NiceJob. So I don't know why we agreed to it, but it's out there.
We drive a hard bargain, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, you know, Oscar, I just want to say, I mean, it's been really neat, you know, being able to work directly with you. I mean, I think you and I met, you know, quite a while ago at a conference. You know, we're both like, man, like, I think we're actually helping a couple customers with their Zapier integration, and we're just like, man, like it would just be so much easier if this was just like, you know, a native integration. And so we both sort of said, all right, well, let's go back, talk to our engineers, see if we can get everyone together and just bang this out. And I think it's one of the fastest integrations that, you know, both of us have seen our teams be able to deliver. So it's really exciting to be able to put that out there, and it's just made it so much easier for everybody, you know, to be able to enable it and have it fully, you know, built into JobTread.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you to kind of just take folks through exactly how it works later, because it's actually a little bit different to some of the integrations we run, and it puts a lot more of the control in the contractor's hand, in the business owner's hand. So I'm looking forward to showing that to people kind of once we got through the main piece of content. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about the art of turning happy customers into fanatical advocates. This really is kind of, when I think about fanatical advocates, I'm thinking specifically kind of reviews and referrals. And for the majority of today, I'm going to be talking about reviews. And really, I'm going to split this up into kind of why this stuff really matters. I think a lot of people are at the stage now when they understand that, hey, reviews are an important part of everybody's lives. That whatever you buy, you know, people are checking out reviews these days. But there are some specific reasons, like really commercial reasons, why it's important to kind of have reviews as part of your strategy or part of the way that you think about growing your business. And then there are a few kind of second order effects that we think of as well. Like there's a lot of trickle down good stuff that happens from when you kind of tilt the focus of your business towards, you know, customer satisfaction and them kind of them leaving reviews and talking about your business. But we'll jump into it just with some stats, and this kind of this is probably going to be in line with what a lot of people kind of think from their own lives. But 90% these days of customers say that reviews directly impact their buying decisions. And you know, I think about going anywhere, if I'm looking on Google Maps or if I'm thinking of any kind of service, even if I've been somewhere before, I'll often check out Google Maps just to see if there's somebody else that I haven't checked out yet who's maybe a bit better that I should try this time. So, you know, reviews are becoming more and more of a thing, and particularly if you think about the generation of homeowners that are now coming into the market, they've spent most of their adult lives and formative years in this kind of online review-based world, and so it's really not going anywhere. And the central stat there is another huge one, which is that 90% of customers think that reviews, so the voice of other people like them, is more important than anything like a salesperson says or kind of marketing collateral says. And I sometimes use this as an explanation when I'm presenting NiceJob. You know, I could go to our website, and it's the same with JobTread. You know, you could go to the website and look at the marketing copy and hear NiceJob say, you know, we're the best company out there. And it's like, sure, well, they can write anything they want. But when you actually go and you look at Google and you see what people who use them are actually saying, it adds so much more credibility. So these stats kind of really make sense. There's a few more things on here about the value between having, you know, a 4-star rating versus a 3-star rating. It makes a huge difference. But really, the kind of the principle, you know, super obvious thing about reviews is that they will help people buy things from you. I actually was listening. You were talking about your podcast, Eric, and I was listening to an episode earlier today. I was listening to the Steve Kirk conversation you're having, and you were talking to him, and I wrote this down in my pad here. I said, you know, people will buy from people they like, which is so true. But another reason that people buy from you is because they like the fact that other people are buying from you.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the piece of the puzzle where reviews really help demonstrate that and prove that you're out there in the market. So that's the kind of the first point. The second point about, as well as being chosen in the market, reviews are super important for actually helping your business get found. This is kind of what Eric was talking about at the beginning about this, about NiceJob having an SEO focus. You know, we're not an SEO business, but what we do has a direct impact on your business's ability to show up where people are searching for services. So this is actually a direct image that I took from my JobTread Connect presentation, and I did this search the morning of the talk. I went onto Google Maps, and I searched deaf installation Dallas, and this is what pops up. And at the top of the search, so 93% of the time on Google, this Google Map Pack is going to show up at the top of the search results. So it's going to get a huge amount of eyeballs. And what Google uses to determine who's in this three things. One is distance, which you can't really do a huge amount, like either you're in the area or you're not. The second is relevance. That's where things like your Google business tags come in. You know, are you putting all of your services on Google so that you're capturing all those different types of searches? But the third thing that Google looks at in that equation is prominence. And prominence is a bit of a kind of a looser term. You know, they're trying to figure out how well known is this company, how much authority does it have, are people using it, is it, you know, really reputable in its area? And what Google really has to go on for that prominence piece is how many reviews is it getting, what's its rating? So those two things have a huge impact on a business's ability to show up at the top of this Google Map Pack. There's some interesting stats around the importance of this map pack, and without getting into too much marketing jargon, I'm going to talk about a term called click-through rate. So we're talking about how many people are actually clicking on the link and going through to your website. And the statistics for folks that are in this map pack, the click-through rate is around 40%. So it's pretty high of people that are actually going to take a step and check out your business in more detail. If you're not in the map pack and you're just in, you know, first page of Google, which is still a good place to be, the click-through rate drops to 8%. So it's dramatically different, and it really highlights the importance and how much of a competitive advantage it is to get into this map pack. Because once you're there, hey, you're getting more of the clicks, you're getting more of the leads, more of the sales opportunities, more chances to ask for reviews. It's very difficult to get you out once you're in there. And I thought this image was particularly interesting because I'm looking at the guy down here, Reformed Outdoor Structures. You know, he's 80 reviews at a 4.9 star rating. He's only been in business, you know, between 5 and 10 years, and he's managing to kind of pull his weight against Dallas Deckcraft, which has only produced 38 reviews in 40 plus years of being in business. So it just kind of shows how people can make a name for themselves and establish their presence online pretty quickly if they've got a really great review strategy. Before I kind of dive into the kind of meat and potatoes of, you know, how to get all those reviews and what a great strategy looks like, I did want to talk about some of these kind of downstream effects that having, you know, really great reputation or really great reviews will have on your business. First thing is you got thinking about profit margins. Everybody hates, oh man, these Zoom things when you get those thumbs up. But everybody hates having those conversations with customers where they've checked out a couple of different people and they say, hey, but, you know, so-and-so down the street or over, you know, the next county can do this job for, you know, 5,000 less, 10,000 less, whatever it is. Your reputation, your reviews is, I hear this from time and time again from contractors, it really helps them stand by their pricing and stand by what they're offering to clients, because they can say, hey, yes, we might be a little bit more, but you can see from our reviews that we are, you know, we're the best company in the area. We do phenomenal work. Everybody's incredibly happy with what we do, and you won't regret kind of going with us. And that's those kind of being able to actually physically prove that from the reviews that you can show people will help you kind of make more money on your jobs, which is great. The other great thing about reviews as a strategy is it's got incredibly high ROI. It really doesn't cost much. Like some of the things I'm going to talk to you about today, you can do on your own without NiceJob. And I really shouldn't say this, but you can. You can kind of implement some of these things and take it away and put it into your business. NiceJob can automate the whole thing and take it off your plate and make it so you don't have to think about it. But you can do things that will get you more reviews that really doesn't cost much. Maybe you incentivize somebody on your team and you pay them $20, $30 a review or something like that, so that they're out there hungry, doing whatever they can to kind of get those great reviews of a customer. I spoke to a contract the other day who pays $100 for a review, which shows how much that he values them. But even still, if what you're doing and you're spending a couple $100 a year on this review strategy, and you get, let's say, 10 to 20 new reviews that year, those 10 to 20 new reviews cause you to win 3 or 4 new contracts of people who read you and compared you against other people before they picked up the phone. That is a dramatic return on investment. And you think about some other marketing strategies where we might be spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a month on SEO or PPC or whatever. This is a super profitable channel for you to include.
Oscar, we actually implemented something similar to that at JobTread. We essentially, all of our customer success managers, for every 10 5-star reviews they get, we give them $1,000 bonus.
Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
it's something that, like, we feel like it is important that it helps set the stage for every new customer that they're going to work with. We want them from the very get-go to be striving to earn that 5-star review. Bend over backwards, do whatever it takes to help those customers be successful, because at the end of the day, that's how, people are finding out about JobTread, is because of the reviews and all of the review sites, and like having that. I mean, that's honestly, it's been our lifeblood. Until this year, we didn't run any ads. It's been all organic, social, people finding us. They're hearing about, JobTread through the reviews and other customers who are similar to them. And I mean, it has been the probably made the biggest impact on any of our marketing efforts is having, those 5-star reviews that we have all over the web. And, again, I think at the end of the day, we want to incentivize and, recognize the customer success team for doing such a great job and working with each and every customer. And, it's just a nice little kind of, on top of, their all their other compensation. It's just a really nice way to incentivize and reward people for that hard work. Yeah.
And you talk about aligning, compensation to the right kind of behaviors and the right approach. And, there's a bullet point I have there on the slide about kind of crew fulfillment and motivation. I mean, you talk about somebody feeling fulfilled in what they do. I hear these stories the whole time about how much crew members love it when a review comes in that mentions their name specifically, because they've done such a good job, and that's out there publicly. It's a super cool, really, really rewarding thing, and it's shifting the focus of the business kind of towards that kind of customer satisfaction. Like, what am I doing here that's gonna really tip a customer over the edge to kind of, becoming those raving fans that everybody really cares about having. But that's really cool to hear. Thanks for sharing it. The other thing that Steve talked about on your podcast, Eric, was just how hard it is to find talent and find crews, and how hiring is such a challenge. And I'm not saying this is the kind of the golden bullets that is going to solve anything, but in a tight labor market where there's a shortage of supply of labor and there's a lot of people that are after them, folks are going to want to work for the best businesses. And a really clear and demonstrable way to prove you're the best business is by showing your reputation in the market, showing this is how much our customers love us. You're going to be doing jobs where people are super happy to work with you. They're going to kind of talk about how great you are afterwards. It means that we as a business get loads of great work because of our reputation. So I don't think it's going to solve the problem, but it's definitely not going to hurt. And I always find that the best businesses with the best reputations usually have less struggles with things like hiring.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to, to go take a job or work for a company where it's just like nobody's satisfied. I mean, it's not going to be, putting you in a great position, to be able to deliver, high quality work, be very passionate. Like, you want to be making a positive impact. And, I think it does make a direct impact on hiring and recruiting to see that you've got, a great reputation out there.
Yeah, awesome. And then the last point I put down is like your reputation reviews can even have an impact on how much value you can extract from your business at the end of the day. If you ever come to the point of where you're looking to exit, or you're looking to kind of have a liquidity event or whatever in your business, companies which are, the highest rated business in their area are always going to attract higher multiples of earnings or whatever, whatever kind of metrics you're looking at when somebody comes to buy their business, because whoever's coming in to buy that business knows that, knows that it's going to be easy for them to kind of to almost have a turnkey thing where they're coming in and people are going to find them. They've got a great established reputation. They're generating leads. So there's a whole raft of downstream things that people should think about if they're debating trying to get more reviews for their business. Cool. I'm gonna move on to the good stuff, which is what we talked about in January at JobTread Connect, which is this idea of the customer-driven growth cycle, as we call it. And this is what we're all talking about in terms of turning those happy customers into vocal advocates. You can see it's a 4-step process that starts with kind of you as the business owner. It starts with, am I focusing on my customer? Am I doing things that make my customers really happy? Am I generating an incredible experience? At NiceJob, we always talk about helping great companies get the reputation they deserve. That's our kind of mission statement. And well, that does have kind of two sides to it. If you're not focusing on the customer and your business practices are you have other priorities, then shining an extra light on your business, encouraging people to write what they think about you, isn't necessarily going to have the results or the effects you want. So it really is important to start with, am I in every decision that I make, is this something that my customer is going to love? And things you can do is like, am I thinking about plus ones like an offer? Like if I'm wrapping up a job, is there something super simple which isn't going to take much time? It's not going to cost as much, but it's going to be really impactful. Like can we pressure wash the driveway on the way out, or something, something really small that was just going to be totally unexpected from the customer's point of view. A lot of people, I think, are doing this part really well. I think the US is full of, and Canada and the UK, full of companies that are doing an incredible job, but not enough people know about it. And that's because they're not taking care of this second piece of this cycle, which is capturing the voice of the customer. This is where the whole kind of, what does your review strategy look like, kind of come in. And I can share a few kind of best practices, again, that are independent of NiceJob or not, but that will help you get more reviews. The first is you need to ask every time. Seems really simple and obvious to say, but I've heard so many examples of people that have been frustrated in the past by customers saying, "Oh yeah, I'll leave you a review," and they never do it. And that said, and then that changes their mindset into thinking, okay, well, my market's just different. My customers are different. They just don't, reviews, they don't leave them. So, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to have those awkward conversations, because sometimes it can be an awkward ask just to say, hey, we've done this thing for you. I know you've already paid us, but it would really help us out if you left this review. A lot of people don't want to make those requests, but it really is important to get into a mindset of, we're going to ask everybody.
Can we quickly just poll the audience in the chat? I mean, how many of you are asking after every job for a review from your customers? Like, would you say that you are consistently doing that? Yes or no? Because I mean, I see it all the time. I'm just like, it's the number one thing that you should do at the end of every job. And I'm always kind of surprised when, I find people that they don't do it for whatever reason. It's like, man, like you just put in all of this effort, and the last thing right there, you've already crossed the goal line. It's an ask, but it is something that I see a lot of people just struggle to kind of do that right there at the goal line. So let's see what our audience says. Got a lot of yeses. That's great. Yes, almost always. All right. We ask, they say yes, but minimal follow-up. Well, okay. Yes.
We'll get into that. Hey, it's good to see. I'm glad that I'm preaching to the converted. This is a good audience. One thing that can really help with this whole asking every time thing is reducing the barriers to doing so. And that's why I think, we'll get onto the integration, but you really want it to be as easy as possible. Like, how automated can I make this into my process? And that could be as simple as creating an SOP, a standard operating procedure for reviews that everybody follows and everybody's trained on, that this is what happens. But it could also be, can I integrate something into JobTread that means that I really don't have to even think about it. It just kind of happens. So that's the first part, is consistently asking. The next thing I'll say is, a couple of people touched on this, some people respond, some people don't. We don't maybe consistently follow up, but that follow-up that's where the magic is. I'll kind of lift the hood a little bit on NiceJob. So the way NiceJob works is we have a 4-step process to getting a review from a customer. Starts off with a text message, and then we send up to 3 follow-up emails as required to remind them to leave a review. And when I started at NiceJob, I thought, man, that's a lot. Have we thought about this? Are we sure we're not pissing off customers? But the data, across, we've got 30,000 plus, pros on NiceJob, and the data tells the story that it really doesn't. And the crazy thing, Eric, and I talked about this in January, but in terms of the success of those 4 steps, the text message at the start is the best performing step. And that's because you're capitalizing on the momentum. You've finished the piece of work, the homeowners come back, they've seen it, they're like, wow, this is amazing. Bang, they get a text straight there and then saying, would you mind leaving us a review? Usually you're capturing a lot of that kind of, we talk about the moment of peak excitement is the right time to ask. But the next best performing step is the 3rd email, the 4th step, which is at the end of the drip, which is like 2 weeks later. And that, I see that time and time again across industries, across different clients, that last step. And it just proves how you're not annoying your customers. They love, if you've done a great job, they love you, they love the work you did. If you've planted the seed and said, hey, I'm going to be asking you to leave a review, it's just that additional nudge they needed to do it. And the other thing I like about the 4th message with NiceJob is it comes directly from the business owner rather than the business itself. And that adds a little bit of extra kind of personal obligation to the tone of that message, which is why it's so effective. But yes, if folks can take one thing away from this, it's the power of follow-ups and the power of reminders and the power of nurturing. Everybody knows, people know about nurturing leads and prospects, but you can kind of think of the same approach to getting that review off them. And the same goes for referrals. Don't just ask for a referral once. NiceJob campaigns for referrals run over 6 to 9 months, because not everybody right there and then is going to know somebody that needs a new deck. But when somebody's talking about it 4 months from now, they want to have had a recent message, so they know who to send them to, or who to say, hey, I've got somebody for you. So follow-ups are key. The next thing I'll talk about, just in terms of best practices, somebody mentioned it. It was they do ask every time, and it's via a survey. And I think surveys are awesome, but you have to kind of know what your priorities are. Because if you ask somebody to fill out a survey and then there's something at the bottom asking them to leave a review, you're just increasing the barriers, or you're making it harder on that customer to leave the review. And so I would always think about maybe having something that's separate, that's outside that really all you're doing is you're sending the customer a link, they click the link, they're there on Google or wherever, and they're typing the review straight away. The more friction points that you create in that process, the likely it is for them to drop off, give up, think this is too much time. There are some things out there where somebody might fill out a survey, and then depending if it was a good survey or not, they then might get a message asking to leave a review, and those always produce fewer reviews, because the customer's they're going to think, hey, I just did this thing. Why are you asking me to do another thing?
I'm curious, Tiffany, I saw you posted that. I mean, are you doing that as a way to try to make sure that it's going to be a great review ahead of time, or what's the, kind of curious kind of what the thinking is, because if they're posting the review in the survey, well, then it's, you're not going to be able to have it made available, on behalf of that user, of that customer of yours. So, I definitely agree with Oscar. I mean, it seems like it'd be a much better, if you could just send it, directly to them and get them to post it, through their own Google account, through their own Facebook account. I mean, it's going to be so much more credible when you have that, being posted directly from the user.
one thing that is specifically relevant for this industry and for JobTread crowd is attach photos to your review invites and your review requests. If you have a photo handy of the completed work, send that along with the text message or the email so the customer is reminded of the awesome job that you did, even though they have it right there, but you'll have a nice professionally taken photo from the right angles and the right lighting, all that sort of stuff. A really cool thing that you can do through NiceJob is we have an integration into Company Cam. And so if you have, let's say you have a before and after photo that you've taken in Company Cam or something along the lines where you've documented the final piece of work, we can automatically sync that into NiceJob. And so when you click the button to say, hey, send a NiceJob review, we can grab that photo and send it directly with it, which is really, really cool. And again, the stats on NiceJob's side tell the story that invites with photos attached are 98% more likely to get a review. It's crazy the impact they have. So definitely something to think about.
Sounds like we might need to add that feature in our integration. Sounds like a great idea.
It should work already. It should work already. It's kind of on the NiceJob side. So what all somebody has to do if they're a Company Cam user is if they have it connected to NiceJob, there's a tag available and you can tag a photo as NiceJob review. That'll allow us to grab that photo. And then when the review request is triggered by JobTread, NiceJob will just grab it and send it out. So it should already be available.
So I wonder though, if they're not using NiceJob, but if they were to apply that tag to the job photos in JobTread, if you could grab it in the same way.
Yeah, that would be a really sweet way to sweet thing to explore. Let's note that down.
Well, we'll get the engineers back on it.
yeah, exactly. Be available in 1 week, right? No. Well, anyway, look. So there's a few tips on kind of getting more reviews. I think really you can boil it into kind of two ways. It needs to be really, really easy for you to ask for them and ask every time and follow up and all that good stuff. And it needs to be really easy for your customers to actually leave them. So are you making it as simple as possible? If are you asking them to kind of leave reviews on, random review sites where they might have to create an account in order to do so? If they're going to have to log in or create an account or do anything like that, then that's another reason for them to drop off. Most people, have a Google or have Facebook or something like that. So you want to give them a couple of options of places where they can leave reviews and make sure that you're not leaving any on the table.
Is there too many places that you think might kind of lead to decision paralysis? Like, I mean, what do you guys recommend? Obviously the Google's probably, I assume, number one, but like how many others would you say?
It depends on a case by case. Have some people that really prioritize places like Houzz or Homestars or wherever, Better Business Bureau. Some people have a lot of, take a lot of, give that a lot of credence to that platform. But I would say 96% of NiceJob customers connect Google, Facebook, and that's really it. And the majority of them really care about Google. Because for the reasons I mentioned is that that has the biggest kind of SEO impact to your business. That's where people are starting their searches, and that's where you need to be. The third piece of the kind of the flywheel of creating those vocal advocates is putting those reviews to work for you, and taking a proactive approach to how you share them in the market and how you get them out in front of people. It's amplifying the voice of that customer. So once you've captured it, how are you then amplifying it? Two really easy ways you can do so. The first is making sure that you're featuring customer reviews on your website. This seems like kind of website 101, but what I will say is that there are different levels to doing this. I would say level one is that you have some kind of, either it's built into your homepage or it's a testimonials thing or something, but it's customers, testimonials or reviews that are hard coded in, hard written into your website, and they follow the same, format and style. I think that's a good start. But I as a consumer, whenever I see those on websites, I always wonder, did these people really exist? Or is, Oscar W, is that just like a figment of somebody's imagination that they use to get their business off the ground? So it kind of, whilst it helps, I think it lacks that kind of credibility that other options can provide. And by other options, there are widgets that are available. The NiceJob ones come with NiceJob, but there are others out there where you can automatically sync and pull your reviews and feature them on your website in these widgets that constantly update. And those are awesome because they have, let's say, the Google branding, or on the NiceJob widgets, they look in the same look and feel as a Google review. So when you're looking through them, it just has that extra bit of social proof, that extra bit of credibility. And when we talk about SEO, the other nice thing is that it's new content for your website. That every time a review comes in and that widget updates, that's telling Google that, hey, this is new content that really affects your on-page SEO, to use more kind of marketing jargon. The other thing is that it can create this kind of concept of like fear of missing out, if you know what I mean. Like when I ever go onto like booking.com or one of these guys, or if I'm paying for flights and they have those widgets that pop up in the corner saying, 7 people just booked this flight, there's only 2 remaining. And that puts the fear of God in me. I'm like, oh man, I've got to get going here. And it's obviously not that dramatic, but if you could have a little widget like the NiceJob Engage widget, which pops up on the bottom corner of your website saying that, we just got a 5-star review yesterday, or, so and this can happen and it can cycle through your reviews. So it looks like you're constantly getting new reviews coming in. Just creates that sense of kind of activity and urgency on your website, which will just only helps to kind of increase the conversion of website traffic into people who actually pick up the phone or book a demo, book a call or something like that. The next thing you can do is connect your reviews up to your social media. And this is another like super hack really for kind of social media marketing. If you talk to any marketing company about social media, they're going to say, hey, it doesn't matter about the quality or whatever, you just got to post every day. You got to be consistent. You got to get out there. And I think if you're a contractor and you don't have somebody that's specific job is just to run social media, that can sometimes be a bit daunting of thinking of new content or new things to put up on a daily basis. Well, the user-generated content like reviews is like it's a game changer. They're totally free. You don't really have to spend any time on it. Through NiceJob, we can just easily package up a 5-star review into an Instagram post and actually automatically post it when it comes in. You don't even have to think about it. And again, those sorts of social posts are usually really high engagement. People like to see them. If they interact with them, like give them a like or share or anything like that, hey, guess what? You're suddenly sharing your great work with a whole new community of people that you wouldn't have otherwise reached. So definitely good thing to think about. And then with those, I mentioned the company cam integration, or the idea of having photos with your reviews. If somebody leaves that review, then hey, you've got a photo attached to it. All of a sudden, you're getting a review plus a piece of work on your website, or a review plus a piece of work on your social media. Man, those things look really cool if you can attach the two. So by doing that, by kind of following this process of creating experiences that your customers really love, capturing the voice when they are really happy, amplifying that out to the market and to the world. The goal of this whole thing is that every customer brings you one more customer, and they can either do that through going out there and spreading the word and giving you referrals, or better yet, they can write a review, which is kind of like a referral on steroids. That review can be seen by thousands of people, and it's going to be a kind of a permanent record of how great your business is. And the nice thing, kind of we talked about before, is that this cycle just feeds itself. Once the customer's done its work and it's become an advocate for you, and it's out there telling the market about how great you are, that's going to drive more people through, and those people are going to have great experiences. Those people are going to be asked to leave their review, and this kind of whole process compounds on itself, and it becomes a really, becomes a super sustainable kind of core of how people can grow their business. So that's the kind of, that was the cycle I kind of wanted to talk through. I think from here, Eric, we were going to talk specifics about kind of how a NiceJob connects up into JobTread, because we take care of this whole cycle, and we can do so kind of automatically.
Yeah.
I'll switch this up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of the really neat things that we've done here with, this integration is that we've given you the control and the power to decide who you want to send those requests to, when you want to send it. It allows you to kind of, directly from the contact in JobTread. So if you have, you might have multiple contacts. I mean, maybe your primary contact was the husband, but the wife was really involved, but like you think you might get a better review out of her, like you can choose who you want to request, or you can request it from everyone. We've given you that ability to really kind of control, when and who to make those requests from. And so, I mean, it's, when you have the integration, enabled, and it's super easy to enable. You just, go directly to the settings in your JobTread, go to the integrations, you find NiceJob, you're going to just, essentially kind of connect through there. And then you're selecting which campaign from your NiceJob account that you want to be enrolling all of these customer contacts to get added to. When you go directly to that customer contact and you just click, enroll in NiceJob campaign, that's it. I mean, everything is seamless after that. They're automatically pushed into NiceJob, and NiceJob does its thing, and you can move on.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I really like the fact that it has this kind of element of contractor kind of control, because in other integrations that we built into other softwares, usually we're thinking like, hey, how can we automate this? And because that's where we're working with service companies that, are doing one small job and then they're off onto the next job. And we can usually say, hey, if they're invoicing a customer, then that means the job's done. But on these on larger, more complex projects where you might have multiple different invoices at different stages or whatever, it might not be clear when that moment of peak excitement is. The conclusion that the JobTread team kind of landed on is that actually the better experience here is to allow our folks to kind of decide when they want to ask, and then have the ability to ask different people, because again, there are going to be multiple people on the account. So I think it's super slick. And then, what happens? You click the button, NiceJob will just grab the phone number and the email address from JobTread, and then we'll send that first text straight away. And then, they get enrolled in that follow-up sequence, and you don't even have to think about it. And then everything else, the website plugins, the social media sharing, all of that can be automated as well. So, we can, once you have it set up, it really can be like a set it and forget it experience on the NiceJob site, which is nice.
Oscar, we just had an interesting question here from Ethan. Yeah. So, he said, what is the correct balance between the number of reviews and the rating itself? He said, my company's current practice is to only ask customers for a review who are certain to give a 5-star. Obviously 5 stars are great, but at some level, 500 reviews with an average of 4.5, is that better than 50 reviews with an average of 4.8? What's that balance? I mean, how do you respond to that? I mean, what have you guys seen?
It's a really, really great question. And there's actually a lot of kind of marketing research out there that says that the kind of sweet spot to be as a business is kind of around that 4.7, 4.8 kind of round, because people want to, the whole point of reviews, and I think this is maybe I'm going to get too philosophical, but the whole point of reviews is they're designed to create trust, and they're designed to help a prospective customer feel more confident about taking some kind of action, either to hire you or even just to kind of engage with you in the first place. And if there's any doubt that creeps into their mind when they're reading reviews or they're checking your profile out, that's going to negate the whole process. And so it's a really common thing for folks there are even softwares that will try and gate customers. So they'll send them like we were talking about before, they'll send them a really quick satisfaction question or something, or a survey saying, hey, would you give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or how would you rate us out of 5? And if they rate them 5 out of 5, then they ask to leave the review. But that kind of gating process leads to these situations where you have a business that has 50 5-star reviews, and you have a business that has 30 at a 4.8, but the business that has 30 at a 4.8 is more credible and more believable, because everybody knows that there are these folks that just can't be pleased. And, everybody knows that every business isn't perfect, and something, might happen from time to time. And the number of times that I've had business owners and contractors come up to me and say that they've had people that have hired their business or who have, bought their services because they read their bad reviews and read their responses. Like, I think it's much more important for you as a company is how do you respond to bad reviews that come in, than trying to avoid them all in the first place, because they're really not damaging in and of themselves as long as they're dealt with publicly and in a positive way.
Great advice.
I didn't really answer the question. I don't think there's like a magic number, but what I really do feel passionately about is kind of avoiding the mindset of only trying to ask, the 5-star people. It's be much more effective. You'll get more reviews by having a mindset of asking everybody, focusing on delivering an awesome service. And if you do get somebody that's just impossible to please and they happen to write you a bad review, making sure that you deal with that in a super great way online, so that people know that, hey, if something does go wrong, hey, this company's still going to look after me and they're not going to publicly slam me or whatever.
Now, Wendy just said she never trusts a company with only 5 stars and more than 50 reviews. It's just not real. Well, yeah, I hope you trust us. We got like 133 5 stars. So
okay, I'll go out and give you a 4-star just to kind of give you some credibility.
I'm the exception. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Chad here said, we've had reviews left by customers on Google not show up, and reviews that that later dropped off. Have you seen this happen, and how can it be dealt with?
So yeah, we do hear about this from time to time. I don't have an answer in terms of what causes it, but my experience from hearing from clients and from our own customer success team is that, kind of contrary to what you might expect, Google's support is actually pretty good. And if you go up and you kind of contact them, and for example, like even if you have a fraudulent review or something that shouldn't be there, you can get pretty good support off Google to kind of to troubleshoot it. That would be the what I would suggest. And then Robert, your question about getting a phone call from a NiceJob salesperson, that is fascinating. I think that must be pure chance. We don't use any algorithms that's kind of scrape Google or do anything like that, or try and find out who's checking out our page or anything like that. That must have been one of the crazy coincidences of the universe.
Yeah, we didn't. We did. I don't even think y'all have the registration list for this either. So, I mean, now I will say, so there are, and I don't know what you guys use, but we have marketing automation software where if we've previously sent someone an email and they click on it, it does cookie them, and then like you could get alerts later after the fact that, hey, they're on the pricing page or they're looking at your website. Like that could trigger people to reach out. So perhaps Robert has had previously submitted a form or interest to reach out to you guys somehow. Maybe there's some marketing automation there, but yeah,
I don't think we're as clever as you are, Eric.
Oh, you guys are pretty clever, I'm sure.
But yeah, no. Anyway, I hope that call wasn't too much of a nuisance. But yeah, no worries. So next thing we're going to talk about, I think, Eric, was just to kind of, the integration isn't that old. People haven't been using us for a ton of time, but we're already seeing some really cool examples of JobTread customers that are having, really great experience and have kind of, completely changed the game in terms of their review collection. I don't know how long either of these guys have been using NiceJob, and we didn't want to share the business names because we hadn't got in touch with them. But here are a couple of accounts. You can see one that they only had 2 reviews before coming to NiceJob, and by looking back at their account, it looks like those 2 reviews took about 3 or 4 years to collect. And I'm assuming that they will have been using NiceJob for probably 3 or 4 months, and they're already up to 10. So they 4x their reviews in the last few months, which is really cool. And then this next customer here, you can see an equal, like if you look at the chart, like an equally dramatic effect of the rate in which they were collecting reviews over the last 2 or 3 years, and then bang, NiceJob comes along around the turn of the year, and all of a sudden they've collected 23 new reviews, which I love to see. I love this stuff. I spend all day looking at these charts and trying to find good ones to show people. So I really like looking at these stories. And I think on the next slide we have a couple more. So and this is one more customer, but this I think is a really cool story because it shows this conversion rate. So thinking about conversion rate of customers to leaving reviews is a thing that we really think about internally, like how well is our product performing, and we encourage customers to think about their conversion rate. Now, what things can they do within their business to kind of to squeeze a little bit more juice out of the stone? And this JobTread user that's getting 56% of his customers to leave a review, those are awesome numbers. I think kind of what we see across our business as a whole is like gold standard is usually somewhere around like 25% to 35%. So to see 56% is incredible. And then the cool thing is to even look at the steps. I talked about the performance of the different steps in the business and how usually the text message is the best performing and the last one is the second best. Interestingly, the last one on this account is by far the best performing step. So you can see so 38% of this, something's a bit funky with the stats there, but 38% conversion rate of that 56 is coming from the last step, which I think is awesome to see. So I did want to highlight some of those as some customers that are having a great time.
And that reminds me of I remember I read a Harvard Business Review a long time ago, and it was talking about the number of times to call a prospect. And it was something like, if you call someone once, you have a 10% chance of connecting with them. But if you call them at least 6 times, you have a 90% chance of connecting with them. Wow. And it's so many people that they make one call and then they move on. And it's like, you have to be, persistent. And it's very similar in this regard, kind of, according to the data. I mean, it does make a difference to have those kind of continually follow up with them until they finally do leave the review. I assume with NiceJob, like once the review is left, you guys, you don't keep sending the third, fourth, email.
That's a really, thanks for the tee up. I can't believe I didn't say that already, but yes, that's exactly how NiceJob works. So if somebody leaves a review after that first text, they're not going to get any more messages. The same at any point of the campaign. We can do that because we're connected up to your review sites. And we're also connected up to JobTread, so we can kind of see the name of the customer. And so when we can match up that name of the customer with the name that's on the review site, does have to review, hey, we're not going to follow up with them anymore. So yes, that's a key part of the business for sure. There was a question that came in, I saw from Mary Claire, which is asking about, I'm assuming, just about NiceJob pricing, as I'm assuming the thrust of that question. So NiceJob typically is $75 a month. That's the cost of NiceJob. But as Eric mentioned, maybe if for anybody who wasn't there right at the beginning, NiceJob has a special offer for JobTread users, which is 50% off for life. So JobTread users only pay $37.50 a month. So for a year on NiceJob, it's going to cost you around about $400, $450. And the way I like to think about it is, and this is conversations I've had with people at JobTread Connect and others when they're thinking about the software, is that if I can get, depending on how many jobs I'm doing a year, it's obviously a big kind of range here. But if I can get, let's say 10 to 30 new reviews a year, I don't know what the range is, or even more, those reviews a year could be that those new reviews coming in could play a huge role in me being able to close an extra, 2-3 deals. The kind of the joy of working construction is that often these deals and these projects are pretty high revenue numbers. They're pretty high dollar value. And so, you might spend $400 on a reviews product, but you might get as a result of that, multi-$1,000 worth of projects come in. So yeah, the ROI is pretty cool. I've seen we had a few more messages come in. I don't know if there's any more.
I want to say though, Oscar, I think one of my favorite features about NiceJob is like every time somebody leaves a review about JobTread, I instantly get notified from NiceJob, regardless, regardless where they left the review. And I think that's such a great, way for us to just keep that pulse in real time. And, again, I mean, not, we don't necessarily have like, terrible reviews getting posted, but if we did, I would want to immediately know about that. And then I would want to be able to go and again, respond, maybe call them, address it, and I think those real-time alerts that you all provide are, I mean, that's invaluable.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. That's a really popular thing that people love, staying on top of their reviews. The other thing that NiceJob does is we have comprehensive insights that are available to all customers. So you can go in and there's an insights tab where you can actually, we use, natural language processing algorithms that can pull out the key themes that your customers are talking about. And so you can actually say, hey, what do my customers really like? What are the things they're talking about? Do they like the fact that I'm knowledgeable? Do they like the fact that I'm on time? And hey, if you're thinking about being clever about your marketing, if I know that everybody in my area really cares about being knowledgeable, those are the words I'm going to hit in my paid ads or on my website. I'm going to make sure I'm talking about being knowledgeable all over the place. There's a lot of cool stuff. Taylor, I'm assuming you're going to help us maybe navigate some of these questions.
Yes, thanks, Oscar. We did get a question here that says they can see how this is beneficial for residential contractors. And are there any examples of subcontractors using this model in order to attract contractors?
Yes, we do have subcontractors that use NiceJob. I would say, as a general principle, typically it's reviews is more of a thing in the residential market. So with consumers and homeowners. However, I'm constantly surprised by contractors that do have more of a commercial focus that still want to get reviews. And the reason I think is quite interesting is that, I don't know, let's say you work with a lot of with general contractors, a large market where there's a few of them. Folks that are wanting to sub you out, they want to hear again from people like them. And so if you only have reviews from Mrs. Taylor that maybe paid you to kind of put a new door in or something, that's not going to be a kind of parallel review. So it's always helpful if you've got multiple different sides of your business. It's always helpful to think like, have I got reviews that reflect all these different services and all these different stakeholders that I work with? So I would say in general, it's more applicable to the kind of residential side of the market, but certainly not worth totally discounting.
Yeah, I mean, I almost wonder, and again, thinking back to my commercial contracting days, I mean, like to some extent, like the GCs that you're working for, you're going to continue to do jobs for them. So if you start sending them these requests, it could be a little bit awkward for them not to go give you a great review if they want to keep being able to use you. So, I mean, I would encourage everybody to 100% try to get those reviews from your customer base, regardless who they are, what they are. I mean, again, it's so valuable to have that online reputation out there for you. And, I think, I wouldn't not do it just because you're not in the residential space. I mean, I think it can benefit everyone.
And Oscar, another question for you. Do you need to disclose when you pay someone to write a review for you?
So, I mean, you shouldn't be paying anyone to write a review for you. That's kind of what I said. So, I mean, yes, I would disclose it.
Offering something, I guess.
So if you're paying for a review service, no, I mean, like it's not. You're not. There's nothing kind of nefarious going on. It's just, you're like the same as anything else. You're using a software to kind of automate a process in your business that to make it not manual. There's nothing that's NiceJob isn't doing any special sauce that's going to magically turn reviews into positive reviews or anything like that. It's just helping contractors be more efficient. So I wouldn't say there's any requirement to do so. I don't think it hurts to have a kind of personal touch where you're finishing up a job. You say, hey, I use this software to help me get more, to kind of help me automate my review process. You're probably going to get a text like in the next couple of days and maybe a follow-up email. Just look out for that. I really appreciate it if you do it. The combination of that kind of personal touch with the automation that NiceJob can provide, I think that's where we see the really great results. But other than that, I don't think there's any kind of disclosure requirements.
So I see we have one question that came into to the post and panel. So Brian, I think he signed up right away when we first put out the integration, and he had the I think originally it was the 50% off for 2 months. He's saying, right, did the 50% off for life, did that automatically get transferred to his account, or is there something that, because I know we probably a couple hundred people are already using this now. How do we make sure that all of the JobTread customers are going to get that?
Yeah, when when we made that switch with I tried going through and making sure that everything was applied and that people didn't have to reach out to us to get it done. But there's every chance, Brian, that somebody may have slipped through the net, and that would be a human error on my part. So I'm more than happy to go back in, make sure that you get that discount applied. And if there's any, we can also credit you for the amount that you maybe have overpaid in the time being as well.
Awesome. I see someone had asked for a quick overview again of the integration. I mean, this couldn't be any easier to set up. You go to your settings in JobTread, you go to the integrations tab, find the NiceJob tile, and you're basically going to get create. I think there's a link there to create your account. If you don't already have one, if you do have one, let me see here. I'm going to just check to make sure I'm saying this correctly, but yeah, you just you go to the NiceJob tile, and it just says connect to NiceJob, and it's a big green button right at the top. You can watch the video; it gives you a little overview of the integration, but very, very simple. Once you get that created, you're just selecting the campaign that you want to essentially every time you push or you enroll one of your customer contacts from JobTread into NiceJob, it's enrolling them into that campaign that you've selected. I mean, it's really the only setting in the integration is which campaign. So it's very, very simple, very straightforward.
Awesome. And the onboarding process for NiceJob is really easy. I believe from that page, and the easiest thing now is that now we're in the marketplace. Super easy just to go through that process. It'll auto load your details that come over to our team. We'll reach out, get your trial set up. So NiceJob is a 2-week free trial anyway. You can test this out. And during that two-week free trial, cool thing is that we'll actually invite all of your previous past customers. So I think Wendy might mention this earlier, that there was a ton of previous customers that she put through. So we can do that for everybody. So the nice thing about that 2-week was it's still free. You can generate a ton of new reviews. That's a nice little kind of value add. And then from there, we'll just make sure that everything's, we can help you with any questions on the JobTread side. Our team have had tons of folks come through and get set up with JobTread. So it should be super straightforward.
I'm curious, how far back would you recommend people considering, taking? I mean, is it, customers for the last, couple months, 12 months, 24 months, entirety of their business? At some point, maybe it doesn't make sense to blast everyone if you've been in business for 40 years. I mean, I don't know if some of the people.
I love when they say don't do 17 years. I think that's maybe the longest I've ever heard, which I love it though. We usually say 6 months when people come to us, but we're not gonna stop you from if you want to do 12 months, 24 months. You just have to kind of be prepared for the fact that you're not going to get those 56% conversion metrics if you're asking somebody that used you 2 years ago. You need to you need to go into it knowing that my conversion metrics are probably going to look a lot lower, but hey, these are free reviews that are out there that I haven't that I've missed, so we might as well ask them all and see what happens.
And is there anything so like with Google, right, when you're publishing blog posts and content on your website, they heavily value that consistency, versus if you take and publish 20 blog posts all the same day, you're probably not going to get that same benefit as if you were to publish one a week and be very consistent. Is there any sort of similarities with reviews? Is it better to send everything out and get 50 reviews all in one day versus a couple every week over time?
Yeah. It's a great point, and that consistency really matters again. And we have a lot of people that, or I think it's a common mindset, which is somebody's like, okay, right, I'm on 20 reviews, I want to get myself to 100. Once I'm at 100, I feel like that'll be a really good spot. I'll look great. It'll be a few more than my competition, so I think that's kind of what I want to get to. And we see that a lot, that it really, your ranking starts dropping if Google isn't seeing that, hey, and it comes back to that prominence piece. If Google isn't thinking that people are working with you anymore and you stop being active in the area, they're going to stop surfacing your business as an option when people are searching. So that would be definitely, you want to stay consistent with this. The other thing is replying to the reviews. I know we mentioned the context of bad reviews, but another top tip for kind of improving your rank is engage with those reviews, even if they're positive ones. Just leave a couple of words of thanks. You can do that directly from within NiceJob. You reply to all your reviews in there, but that's another way you can really help your rankings.
Awesome. Well, I know we're coming up towards the end of this. In the spirit of reviews, for all of you on here, if you haven't left JobTread and NiceJob a review, we would certainly love your review. Google, Facebook, wherever it may be. We really appreciate everybody though coming out. Spending a little bit of time learning how you can leverage the reviews to really improve your customers. And just their turn them into what do we say, fanatical evangelist. I mean, just again, it's so valuable to have that online reputation. For us at JobTread, I mean, it has been the difference maker for us. And anytime people are on the fence, they're looking at us or our competition, we pull up the reviews, all the time, and it's just such a valuable tool. We deeply appreciate all of the people, our customers who have given us reviews. I know it's just so valuable, and I encourage everybody. I mean, for $37 a month, like this is a drop in the bucket. If you can be pulling out a couple reviews every single month, like this is going to make a tremendous impact on your marketing, on your SEO. You really, it's a no-brainer. So we're very fortunate to have NiceJob as a great partner. Having this integration has really been a great move. I'm very thankful for Oscar and his whole team and the work that they did to work with us to make this happen. But it's so important. I hope everybody will take that away from this webinar. Oscar, I appreciate your time coming on here, sharing all of the stats, the insights, the things that you've seen. Obviously, you've got a great perspective. I think you said something like 30,000, people doing this. I mean, that's incredible. You guys have done a great job over there. You've built a great company. We appreciate your partnership, and look forward to seeing hundreds more, of our JobTread customers getting on the bandwagon and just getting those 5 stars out there.
I love it. Thanks so much for having me. It's been really fun. Thank you.
Awesome.